We're live. Shalom, shalom to the full elect of the nation of Israel. All right, we're going to start off this lesson by giving all praises and honor and glory to
Yahweh,
Hashem,
Yahushua,
Hashem, Hakadosh. All right, double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and has taught us this word in truth and sincerity. And peace and mercy to the whole full elect that are also pushing this word in truth and sincerity across the four corners of the earth, as well as your little amount of sisters that believe. Peace and mercy to you and your house. So, in today's class, we're going to go through Revelation, the 12th chapter, and the 9th chapter, or the 9th chapter and the 12th chapter. So, Lord willing, we get through both. They're relatively short chapters. If not, then we'll just do the other one on tomorrow, Lord willing. Okay, and this is mainly for newer comers. Okay, newer comers to GMS, to Israel, and these breakdowns are important for you to know to keep up with history and the present and the future. All right, and that's kind of like what you see these different prophecies. These visions, that's what happens, right? They go from past to present to future. You got to be able to rightly discern when it's doing that and when it's not. Okay, so we're just going to dive right in here. Let me just share my screen.
I'm going to get a quick precept, brother.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll pull up. You don't have to go there. It's Amos 3:7. It reads, "Surely the Lord Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, will do nothing but he revealeth his secrets unto his servants, the prophets." The reason why I brought that scripture out is that we're going to prove, first and foremost, that John was a prophet of the Lord. The Lord gave him some visions, right? And we are in the stead of John, right? Being the spirit of prophecy, like Yahushai said, this is the way his men will be in. All right, so I want to start off like that.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just dive in here. And of course, brothers, if you got precepts, spirit impress you, bring them out. I'm just going to read, and I got my own set of precepts that I'll bring out according to chapters and the verses. So starting off here, this is Revelation chapter 9, and it says the fifth trumpet, the bottomless pit. Okay, and that should be a buzzword and a clue to another chapter in this book. So let's start off with the verse. Actually, let me start off here. I'm actually going to start off with the last verse of the 8th chapter. All right, so it says Revelation 8:13, "And I beheld and heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, Woe, woe, woe to the inhabitants of the earth by reason of the other voices of the trumpet of the three angels which are yet to sound."
So we're going to basically explain one of those woes in the preceding chapter, which is why the brother jumped before that and went to the last verse, because it said woe, woe, and woe. So now we're going to get into one of those woes, and the word woe in this instance, and most instances in the Bible, just means destruction and devastation.
Got it. Right? Yep. So Revelation chapter 9, verse 1, and it reads, "And the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven onto the earth, and to him was given the keys of the bottomless pit."
Before we move on again, 2nd Ezra 5:24, you don't have to get it. That's "and of all the lands of the whole world, thou hast chosen thee one pit, and of all the flowers, therefore thereof one lily." So the reason why I brought that out was to prove that that pit there is meaning the lands. So that's basically talking about the land of Europe, right? The Lord's called a pit because it's like that's unfertile. Nothing really goes on there when it comes to like vegetation. Sure, they have like the crops that they grow, but it's not as fruitful as most other lands. So it's called the bottomless pit, right?
Yeah, the mineral resources, really, right?
Um,
Like that's why they had to go out to different parts of the world and establish different trading routes.
uh,
When Esau got out of the, up in power,
Con. Yep.
they had a Silk Road, the Silk Trade, right?
Yeah.
From Italy all the way down, and then they established the East-West India companies, right? Well, what do you think that was all about? Business, commerce. They were bringing in different spices and different foods,
Yep.
or different sort of resources, gold, silver.
Yeah. Slacker. Okay, so I got this quick precept here. This is Revelation 20:1. And I saw an angel coming down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is a devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years.
so
Right.
in this case, that angel would be our Lord and Savior Yahushai, right? Who is in control of life or death. Okay, so the so-called white man, who is referred to in parabolic talk as Satan and the devil, that old serpent, right? He was thrown out of power, all right? And he was in subjection to the ruling people at that time, which would be the Israelites, calling himself other various names. All right,
Yeah.
it wasn't his time for rulership; it was his time to be in subjection.
Exactly. And that's what you got the term, which we all should know. It's called the Dark Ages,
Khan.
right? And that's basically where you had primarily the Southern Kingdom, right? Judah, Benjamin, and Levi rule over Europe, right? And have a lot of projects and wars between each other and whatnot, right? And that's where you get the icons, right? You go over into Russia, you see a lot of icons of the saints. And you still got thousands of icons that are still have their natural color. When you look at the icons, right? So this is an actual time period in history. Revelation 20:3 says, "And cast him into the bottomless pit," which brothers have established that's Europe, right? And it says, "And shut him up, and set a seal upon him that he should deceive the nations no more."
Which means that he was the deceiver of the earth. There's a Satan and the devil. That word devil just go into the word deceiver.
That's right.
All right. So for a period of time, that lie would be kept under wraps, so to speak. Okay. And not saying there weren't lies in the world, but he's the main source for all the lies that matters, and it causes destruction. So he was no more, right, for a period of time. And if you Google how long was the Dark Ages or the Byzantium or Byzantine period, which is the same time period, they'll tell you about 1,000 years.
Yeah, the Byzantine Empire. Yep.
Con.
Which Esau. That's Esau's terminology. Because Byzantine means backwards. And that's the thing that they try to say.
Right.
Just like the Dark Ages, they try to say, "Oh, that was a time of great ignorance, and there was no light and death and all kinds of things." And right.
Yeah. Con. It says, "Till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled, and after that he must be loosed a little season."
So for a little time, okay, and he came back into power in the Renaissance period, right? The word Renaissance, the French word, "re" means again, naissance means birth.
Mm-hmm.
So the question should be, into the rise, what are you being reborn from? Okay, and that's his rulership. That's being the most pronounced nation in the earth, because they came in the state of Romans and Grecians, right? So they came back as so-called white people, man, right? The Europeans, right? There's no Europeans in the Bible, and there's no word white or black people in the Bible. That's newspeak, right?
Yeah, we're currently in that little season. All right, we're at the end of this little season. Really, Esau is living on borrowed time. So going back to Revelation chapter 9, verse 1, it says, And the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven onto earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke out of the pit as the smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened by the reason of the smoke of the pit. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth.
All right, so that's going into the war now. All that smoke that you've seen is actually the smoke, right? Because when war, you have like bullets flying and missiles flying, and not ICBM, but
Yeah,
torpedoes.
you had gunfire, you had
Gun.
big artillery guns,
Flying.
you had planes dropping bombs, grenades,
That's right.
right? There's a lot of smoke.
And that war kicked off because Bosnian Serbian terrorists killed Archduke Franz Ferdinand. Right, so
Yeah.
that's what kicked off that war. Okay, and then
That's
I
what they
guess
say.
it's like an elder.
No, I'm saying that's what they say.
Con,
That's the official
Con,
Wikipedia, right? But
con,
that was,
yeah,
hey, we know all wars are bankers' wars. I'll just leave it at that.
con.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, because I read another article. They were saying that it's Germany when they were splitting out Africa. That war is mainly about Germany not getting what they wanted out of the steel.
Yep.
Right.
You know.
Right.
They
Which
gotta
both sides. Yeah, Khan, Slacker, brother. I just wanted to say you're bringing a good point because both sides were small hats at the end of the day.
Con.
Right? When you really go into it, a lot of them, the top Germans were small hats. They're just changed their names,
Con.
right? And so they can basically push the narrative of anti-Semitism and all that stuff around that time. But
Of course, and even you had there's a documentary, a very old one, but it was called I think it was called The Black Holocaust in Germany.
right,
And it basically shows Jakes were all up in there
yeah,
from the 1800s and before. We know from where,
Con.
right?
Yeah.
But they were oppressed heavily, you know,
Yeah.
and then they were killed off, right? And they'll never show you any of that history,
Khan,
right? But when you look up pre-Nazi Berlin, that was the Sodom of the day. That's what they describe it as.
Con.
There's a bunch of degeneracy, you know. That's where you actually had the first bands, the first Transformers.
okay.
You know, they actually did that back then, you know.
Wow.
So
Jeez.
And them small headers was behind that.
That's
It
right,
was their
that's
thing, right? And then
Yeah.
even pre-Nazi Germany, there was Jakes also in the army. It's not reported on.
yep,
There was
Right.
Jakes in the German army as well.
Right. Khan, yep.
And this scripture is going to get into it because you see,
Yep. Verse 3 it says, and there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and unto them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power. And
that's them planes,
yeah, Khan, exactly.
warplane.
Yep, exactly. And when you look at the scorpion, right? How does the scorpion attack you with his tail? And that was very important during that time with them. What are they called? Dog fighters.
Yes, yes.
Right. Dog fighters
and tail gunners.
and tail gunners. Yeah,
Yeah.
Khan. As you see here, I was looking up the helmets, which we'll get that later on, going into the helmets because that's a literal thing. But let me just quickly get here.
Yeah, tail gunners and go to images.
Right. So I got dog fighters just so you can see. And
World War One dog fighters. There it is.
Yeah, you see.
So you'll have one man.
Looks like
flying
actually
the
looks
plane.
like locusts.
Con.
You
Yep.
know? When you actually look at
And there's
it,
a bunch of them. There's a bunch of them flying and buzzing.
Gone.
You know?
Right, and the noise, right? Even if I googled sound of a swarm of locusts, and that, you know, it sounds like what
Right.
these guys are sound like, man. But it'd be more fierce, right? And John will just explain like what it look like to him because it's like a movie to him. He's seeing this happening, and it wasn't called dogfighters, you know, or whatever these guys calling now. He's just saying how it seems to him, like,
Right.
what he's watching.
Yeah.
You know?
Let's see if it. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, you can see as the brother's explaining, man. And yeah, and that's a good point because John's right in the middle of the vision, right? And he's witnessing like Apostle Bahar. I remember years ago broke it down like he's like it's like a hologram, right? He's in there and he's seeing war. He's seeing all these ships. He's probably smelling all the smell, dead bodies. Probably
Well,
hearing.
it's like the Matrix. It's like the simulation, right? When they put him in,
Yeah,
the
exactly.
exact same thing. The hologram. He loaded up. He said, "Look, if you die here, you die in real life." So he feels and he
Yeah.
smells everything, right? So same thing,
Yeah, exactly.
right? He was actually there. It was like 4D. You
Yeah.
know? It was like the
It
they
looks like
buy
a
the
grasshopper. As a kid, I have to take them and dissect them. You know what I mean? That's being a rude
Yeah.
kid. And if you look at the shape of these things, a grasshopper is like is related to a locust, or it's almost the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you look at the shape of these things, right, that's what you're looking at. So
Yep.
John is saying what it looks like to him, right? Like I said, there's no tail gunners back then,
Yeah.
right? So
Oh,
they're
yeah.
saying what it is.
Yeah, he couldn't say those are those are warplanes,
Come
right? He could just describe them like as you said. But I was gonna say, like people buying the $3,500 Apple virtual reality glasses.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, they want to be there. That's exactly how it was. He actually was there,
Fine.
you know, and it was presented to him.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, as you see here, there's some pictures of the tail gunners. Yeah, I see they would shoot from the behind.
There it is. That's a locust right there.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
or the scorpion too,
Scorpion,
because
cut,
man,
yeah.
scorpion attacks from its tail.
Well, before you only had one gunner, and then they think it more manageable to have two gunners now. So you have one guy in the back that turned machine gun,
Yeah,
and they're so skillful they'll fly over the plane, and then from in front, and the guy behind is like
yeah,
take it down.
yeah,
Right?
exactly. All right, so I'll read 3 again real quick. It says Revelation 9:3, and there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and unto them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power, and it was commanded, it's like it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth,
So
neither.
it's not literal locusts, because locusts, their main source of food would be the grass and the greenery.
Right.
Right. So the writer is giving an inclination there, the mindset, the hindsight to say this is not talking about actual locusts, right? Because locusts would eat the grass and they would eat the green stuff, right?
Yeah, this is referring to people. Right? The scriptures also refers to people as trees. Right.
Yep.
And locusts, they were plague too, right?
Say it again.
Candy.
What's the other?
No, I'm saying locusts can be a plague as well.
Right.
Plague,
Yeah.
Right? It's a plague.
Yeah. That's right. And it says, neither any green thing, neither any tree, right? But only those men which have not the seal of Yahweh in their foreheads.
Yep. So the apostles broke it down like that part. Now, what I said earlier, like there were Jake in the army.
Yep.
Okay, and there's men that wasn't meant to die, right? And their seed, right, will bring forth, the elect seed.
Yeah, one
Right?
of the elect. Yep.
So they miss death, right?
Yep. Yeah, because these wars were only like a couple decades ago, right? It's like 2-3 generations.
1914 to 1918, and
Yeah,
3 months.
that was like 100 years.
Yeah. So like about 100 years. So 10 decades ago.
Yeah.
So that's about like 2-3 generations.
No,
But for the Esau generation is 25 years.
25? Yeah. Oh, sorry. I said 2-3. I meant 3 to 4. 3 to 4 generations. Yeah, it's lucky.
Who cares what he says, man?
Yeah, he says 25 to 30. Yeah, I know. So verse 4, it says, and it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, only those men which have not the seal of Yahweh in their foreheads. right? So just like the brother just broke down, basically, simply put, that there was men in these wars that would die because later on they would bring forth to one of the members of the elect, basically, in today's time.
And just like you have like those banking families who was gonna be in bunkers, right? They're gonna miss that too because like they have to go and change. So that's why they're gonna miss, you know.
Yeah, the
being
Lord.
You got to
killed.
get a first class,
Gun, right?
you know,
Yep. Verse 5 it says,
first class treatment.
Gun.
I have a quick scripture if I may bring it out.
yeah, Khan, go ahead, bro.
Go into like how the men are referred to as a grass, right?
Yeah.
So this is the book of it's like I have it here.
Luke?
It's like I just had it some trouble. It's in Job actually. I have it. It's in Job. I think Job. Yeah, Job 5 verse 25.
Okay. Fine. Job 5, verse 25, and it reads, Thou shalt know also that thy seed shall be great, and thine offspring as the grass of the earth.
That's right.
Yeah,
Right.
that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you had a lot of Jakes. You had Judah, a lot of Judites, a lot of Issacharites, Gadites.
Yeah.
Fighting World War One. You know.
Con. Yeah. Verse 5, it says, Revelation 9 and 5, and to them it was given that they should not kill them, but that they should be tormented 5 months, and their torment was as the torment of a scorpion when he striketh a man. And
So when I Google that part now, so how long World War One lasted? It says from 1914 to 1918 and something. So it's like 4 months.
But it was declared It was 19.
Yeah.
Dr. Elder?
It was declared in the year 19 though, so that's 5 months.
Okay, so it makes sense more how you put it because they're just saying it's 4 years, 3 months, and 2 weeks.
Right.
Well, you correct. Thanks for the correction. It will make so it's the Bible's on point now.
Yeah. And then it says, and there, so if brothers missed that, this time period is going basically into the time period of World War One there.
Fun.
Okay, which was declared, like the elder just said, was declared in 1919. And it says, and their torment was as the torment of a scorpion when he striketh a man. And in those days shall men seek death and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. Yeah, because back then, when you go into the penicillin, even antibiotics, the medicine back then wasn't as good as it is now. So back then, when men had to cut off their arm, right, gunshot wounds, you just drink some alcohol, bite down some rubber, and they would have to amputate your arms. So a lot of men, right, that were affected in World War One and World War II, a lot of them seek death, but didn't find it.
Yep. Okay. There was a term called shell shock.
Shell shock, yeah.
Right. A lot of people actually lost their mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's where what did they say? PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of PTSD. But it's funny because this same thing is going to play out in World War III.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Even in Jacob's trouble, a lot of people are going to be seeking for death, but the Lord is going to have it where they're not going to find it, and that's what you call torture. All right.
It's like just real quick. If I could back up the elder, new brothers going to like how the war ended in 1919. It's actually these are treaty known as the Treaty of Versailles.
Yeah, I was just looking that up.
Yeah.
Wait, I didn't hear you, brother.
Yeah. So
speak up, Kabar. Speak up.
Oh, can you? It's like is it better now? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I could read it out for you if you want me to read it out.
Yeah, go ahead.
So it says that Treaty of Versailles says the introduction. The Treaty of Versailles was signed by Germany and the Allied nations on June 28th, 1919. contest, formally ending World War One. The terms of the
Hey,
treaty.
because Esau does everything by treaty,
Khan,
by contract, right? If it's not signed on the dotted line,
Khan,
you know, back in the day it was a handshake, but now it's a contract, right?
Khan. Yep. Yeah. So it says that the terms of the treaty, the terms of the treaty required that Germany pay financial reparations, disarm lose territory, and give up all of its overseas colonies. Yeah, that's it on that.
Going back here. Excuse me.
Rakatha.
Khan thought. Verse 7, Revelation 9:7. And the shapes of the locusts were like unto horses prepared unto battle. Right. And that's because usually when horses go to battle, what do men put on them? They put on armor, mesh, right? Iron. So that's what these so he's basically describing these dog fighters. And that's what they reminded him of. Okay. And it says, and on their heads were as it were crowns like gold. Their faces were like the faces of men. And that's exactly what he's seeing, right? He's seeing these Germans, right? John is seeing Germans, and this is World War II now. Okay, so he's seeing Germans in World War II
Khan.
in dogfighters and the tail.
Okay, yeah.
No, actually, World War One, brother. They're doing World War One.
Are you sure? I'm pretty
Gone.
sure.
You can look it up. They were in that.
Oh, they were wearing that in World War One too.
Gone.
Yeah, this is only dealing with
World War One. Yeah,
only
not
World
two
War
yet.
One.
Slaka.
That's the only I remember.
And the breastplate iron is basically describing a plane made out of metal,
Yeah, the
tin,
dog.
whatever metal, right?
Yeah. Let me get this here. Yeah, I'll just read verse 8. And it says, and they had hair as a hair of a woman, and their teeth were as the teeth of lions, which is what the bullets. Right?
And that here is going to that scarf.
Yeah.
You know,
The helmet
flapping in the wind like
The pilot.
Con.
right here.
Yeah.
Con.
Yeah. That's
And they got a scarf. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a good one here too. So that's what they were wearing, man. All right. Verse 9 it says, and they had breastplates as it were breastplates of iron, and the sound of their wings was as the sound of chariots of many horses running to battle.
So that's the propeller and the engine, the plane engine, you know, the noise that it makes.
Yep.
Right.
Which is a horsepower.
Horsepower, yeah. It's funny.
Or horsepowers.
You see, so we start off saying, surely the Lord will do nothing without revealing it first is some of the prophets. So it is reinforced that John was a prophet of the Lord, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never heard of these breakdowns in my life, man.
God.
Before I came in the truth, you know.
God.
I was looking up all kinds of pastors and Christian stuff, you know.
Hey man, I thought this was literal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're reading it, and you're trying to imagine it. You're like, what's going on?
yeah, hey, I was imagining this. In my mind, I was seeing this.
Scared of grasshoppers and shit.
Yep. I was seeing grasshoppers. I was seeing corporate. You know what I mean? That's how bugged out the world is. That's how bugged out, especially the Christian church.
Yeah, can also like in that movie, I think it's called 30 Minutes or Less. Like where you have like the guys they basically like there's like a world I believe like how it goes is like they're in the world and then like they actually have like locusts looking like, you know, like and the way it's described in the scripture, but they actually have locusts in the movie.
Oh,
so you know it throws you off, you know.
I got a quick precept for you, brother.
Con.
Isaiah 8:20. To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them, which is what we were subjected to outside this truth. You know, we're subjected to them pork chopping pastors, and the light was given to them, so we were under that understanding. But now the Lord is woken up our minds up, right? Truth, right before us, and for us to walk in it.
Yeah,
Okay, so this is what's happening right now.
that's right. Um,
Hey, can I
Revelation.
bring this up real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
This is I just typed this in, but it says Bazooka Charlie and the Grasshopper: A Tale of World War II.
Huh.
Right now, they called this plane. This is in World War II, but it still applies because it was pretty much just an upgraded version of the World War One. They called it the Grasshopper, right?
Hmm.
They called the fighter plane a Grasshopper.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah,
Just to bring that up.
yeah, thanks. Deep.
Con. So verse 10, Revelation 9 and 10, it says, and they had tails like unto scorpions, and there were stings in their tails, and their power was to hurt men 5 months. Right. So again, representing the duration of World War One. And what were those planes called? Kazakh, they're called tail
Gunners.
gunners.
Yeah, tail gunners.
And then the scorpions representing the tail gunners.
Con.
Verse 11, it says, and they had a king over them, right? Which that goes to William
Yeah, William.
Kaiser,
Wilhelm, Kaiser.
William Kaiser, right?
Kaiser,
Yeah.
Which Kaiser is
King.
goes back to King Caesar,
Yep.
German way of saying Caesar, or Russian way for Caesar.
Yeah, German.
Yeah, German way for Caesar.
Wilhelm.
Right, so that's who this is talking about. Right here. It says, and they had a king over them, right? Because he was basically the top guy, right, at the time on the Germans. So you can go look him up for yourself for more information on that. And it says, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, right? Which is still talking about this king.
Mhm.
Remember, men.
Man, Christians, but
Yeah, I know. Completely bugging out, man. They're completely bugging out with this part.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, like I said, man, which is the angel. So that angel still represents that king, which is Wilhelm Kaiser, right? Of the bottomless pit, Europe, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue had his name Apollyon.
The destroyer.
yeah, destroyer. Yep.
Yeah. Let's see here, Abaddon, right? And you see destruction, right? Place of destruction. It's the same
Yeah,
thing.
I remember back in the day, like years ago, like 12 years ago, 13. It would just say destroyer,
Con.
but they
So change
kind
it
of
up.
changed it up a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, Apollyon, right? So Apollyon says destroyer, as you see here.
Yep.
Okay, so I think another brother's trying to come in here. Hold up. Oh. Okay, con. So going back now, it says, and they had a king over them. Apollyon, verse 12, it says, one woe is past, and behold, so that's letting you know. So that whole description from verse 1.
Hey, let me bring this out real quick.
Yeah, okay.
The, like Amat said, for you brothers, you got to do your own, research, independent historical research. But this is just dealing with Wilhelm Kaiser, and it was the second, right? It was he was known as Wilhelm the Second, and it just says on Wikipedia, just a quick description. It says he was the the last German emperor and king of Prussia
Con.
from 1888 until his abdication on November 9th, 1918. Despite strengthening the German Empire's position as a great power by building a powerful navy, his tactless public statements and erratic foreign policy greatly antagonized the international community and are considered by many to be one of the underlying causes of World War One. Yeah.
In other words, abdication means to step down and step away from the throne, from rulership.
Con. So Revelation 9 and 12, it says, one woe is past, and behold, there come two woes more hereafter. So from verse 1 to 12, basically describe World War One.
Con.
All right. As you see here, it says the sixth trumpet, army of the east. So verse 13, and the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar, which is before Yahweh, saying to the sixth angel which had the trumpet, loose the four angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates, and the four angels which were loose, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year, for to slay the third part of men. Right? Third part of men. And that third part of men is going to Esau. Right? Because you had three classifications of people: sons of God, sons of the wicked, right, which is Esau, Edom, and then sons of men, which is the other heathens,
Yep. Which is sometimes they're known as children of men,
children of
which they
men.
made a movie like that.
Mhm.
They made a movie called Children of Men.
Yep. Verse 16, it says, and the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000, and I heard the number of them. Right. So now he's going into what? The missiles.
Con.
Right. It says, and thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them having breastplates of fire, and of Jacineth, and Jacineth, and brimstone, and the heads of the horses were like the heads of lion.
They call the warheads.
Exactly.
Right. So you can Google where the missile, where's the most dangerous part of the missile, right? And sure, it's a warhead, man. It's a big thing, but it's the head that has that fire.
Yeah, it's in the back, but he describes it after in the verse down.
Con.
Right, he's just describing it. Looks fierce right now, right?
Right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he's going to mention the head actually when you read down.
Con. It says verse 17, or yeah, verse 18. Is that where I'm at? 18. So okay. 18. It says, by these three was a third part of men killed, by the fire, and by the smoke, and by the brimstone, which issued out of their mouth.
So which means if you have a smoke inhalations and it'll be killing people, man. And you'll be burnt up and can't breathe.
Yeah.
All right. Look at that thing. That's menacing, man.
Yeah. Yeah, and then
He's seen them popped off already. He's seen them flying.
Yeah.
You know, said they're fierce.
God. And then they have warheads. The warheads have a lot of
they split up, right?
They split up, exactly. You have other little missiles within the warheads of
That's
the
right.
bigger missiles.
So John basically got the director's cut. Before the director put his movie out, his brethren come into his basement and watch it, you know, in a man's cave, you know. John got his director's cut.
Yeah. Let me get this real quick. From Pillars of Benjamin. Shalom to the brothers on the comic book, by the way. It says, Joel 2 and 3, a fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness, yea, and nothing shall escape them. Right.
Yeah.
Verse 4, it says,
Because America, Eden means paradise, right? So, you know, it's something, and then when the missiles hit, it's just going to be a desolation.
That's right. Yeah. Verse 4, it says, the appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen, so shall they run.
God. Esau had a thing called fireworks, and the most second, yeah, fireworks.
Yep.
It
Well,
does hurt.
he's doing it right now as we speak, right? Because today's the 4th of July.
God,
That's true.
you
Yeah.
know?
Verse 5, it says, like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains shall they leap, like the noises of a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array.
And that word stubble is mentioned also in Obadiah when the Moses said, Jacob shall be a flame and Esau for stubble. Right? So the Moses is dead set on putting some people in fire, man. Right?
Yeah, the house of Joseph for flame,
Con.
house of Esau for stuff.
For a bunch of stick for burning.
Yeah,
We know what that goes into.
bundle of stuff.
That bundle of sticks, don't kill me.
You can't say the flag of video.
You get the gist.
Yeah.
So the most having all this moles, man.
Yeah.
Verse 6, it says, behold,
Sodom.
their faces and people.
God.
This is Slake. Behold, their face, the people shall be much pained. All faces shall gather blackness.
That means you're gonna give the ghost, man. It's a sorrowful time. I know
Mhm.
you're laughing then.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're gonna have eyes of despair, basically.
Right.
No hope
That's right.
at that time, man. Because how are you gonna escape a destruction like that? You see missiles flying over. What are you gonna do?
There's no way out, man.
You don't even have enough time to get away.
No way out.
Yeah.
Right.
So back to Revelation 9 and 19, and it reads, for their power is in their mouth and in their tails, for their tails were like unto serpents and had heads.
Yep.
And
That's
yep,
that's
Yeah.
warhead. Yep.
that's right.
That do hurt.
And with them they do hurt.
Clown.
So the tail's in the back, right? So the first part of the line, everything, the fire he was describing the front, right? But then he mentions when it splits up, because you can type in nuclear warheads,
Yeah, okay.
like it should show you like an illustration.
Demon.
If I click up this here.
I seen something like that. I forget what I typed.
Here, you know what? I'll just grab this because it's actually a good illustration. Well, then if it doesn't come up, others can look it up for themselves. Let's see if this will work. No, it's not really. Yeah, well, you can look up for yourself. These missiles, basically, when you see them get shot, they split up. The warheads split up, and you see there's other missiles inside of the warhead.
If you see this, you see the warheads in there, the yellow one.
Put it closer.
That's the warheads.
Yeah.
Some of the missing.
If you send it to me on WhatsApp, and I can put it up here real quick.
Okay.
But so verse 20, it says, and the rest of them and the rest of the men which were not killed by these plagues, yet repented not of their works of their hands, that they should not worship devils and idols of gold and silver and brass and stone and of wood, which neither can see nor hear nor walk, Neither repent today of their murders, nor of their sorceries, nor of their fornications, nor of their thefts. Yeah, and that's why there's going to be a third world war, because even though the World War One happened, World War Two happened, things got worse and worse and worse. They didn't get better. All right, they got worse and worse and worse, and now we're at a time where the rumors of war are right at the door, man. You're hearing rumors of war every other day. Okay, and you're seeing all these different kind of missiles being developed, right? Like hypersonic missiles.
Mm-hmm.
You can see what hypersonic missiles can do. That will give you goosebumps, man. This is the con. So this is oh, it's hard to see, eh?
You have to zoom in. Try to zoom in.
Blurry, probably. Yeah, it's a little blurry, but you can see these little. Oh, okay. Here you go. Right here. So there's the warhead, and then there's the other little missiles inside the warhead. Right. So, con. But that's the chapter. What we'll do is tomorrow we'll go into chapter 12, just so this is not too long. But that was Revelation chapter 9 there, and especially for you younger brothers, go over it, study it, look up the history for yourself, so you're persuaded in your own mind of this understanding, okay, and of the breakdown. But does brothers have any lasting statements or precepts?
Actually, a precept, if I may.
Come on, go ahead, bro.
Second Ezra, chapter 16, start from verse 18.
Come on. Second Ezra 16.
Yeah, 16 start from verse 18.
Okay, so Second Ezra chapter 16, verse 18, and it reads, "The beginning of sorrows." Let me just start at 17. Woe is me, woe is me. Who will deliver me in those days? The beginning of sorrows and the great mornings. The beginning of
It's like because also Ezra also saw the same vision, right? Actually, like so, it's like John the Revelator. Also, other prophets also saw the visions,
Yeah.
So Ezra saw the same vision, like World War One, Second World War Two, and World War Three, right?
Come.
Yeah.
And then he's seen more details, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the insurrection, how riots and different lockdowns are going to happen. The FEMA camps,
Yeah.
right? The guillotines and all that.
Mm-hmm. Well, he actually saw himself there.
Yeah, that too.
Right? Like he saw himself. That says, "Woe is me! Who's gonna deliver me in those days?"
Yeah.
It says the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear of. It's like in fear, the beginning of evils. Yeah, and that's those insurrections, right? The power shall stand in fears. That's the politicians. Because look what's going on in France. France is in complete uproar.
Sedition, right? Basically sedition.
Yeah.
Yeah, sedition. Yep.
Yep. And then they even went to the mayor's house. They went straight to the mayor's house to try to burn him down.
They should not regard their kings.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because they protest so much. They know like that shit doesn't work.
Yeah. Con.
And
Yeah.
you see that's phrase "and great death." So every time you say that word "great," it always points at a so-called white man because he likes using that word "great."
That's right.
In Second Habakkuk, he says, "Who's likened unto death." So and great death.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
It says, "The beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold."
Yeah, you could keep going to like verse 20.
Okay, fine. Yeah. Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges of amendment.
Yep. Which means what? What is a scourge? A scourge is like it's actually a whip. It's a
Mhm.
whooping, right? For a correction,
Mhm.
you know. And these people are at the height of their sin right now, so they don't give a shit.
Yeah. Con.
Yo, man, it's gonna get bad.
Con.
I'm just thinking of people every day. They just, they commit sin like like they breathe,
Yeah. Con. Con. Wow.
like they blink. They just
Yeah.
and they hate us because why? Because we're pointing out. We're telling you, yo, that's
Mhm.
sin, that's iniquity, that's
Yeah.
us. They're like, who the
Boy.
fuck are you?
Who are you to judge? Who are you to judge?
Well, hey, remember Genesis says every thought of their mind was continual wickedness.
Con.
Every single
And
thought.
then that's why the Most High said also in Second Ezra, let not the sinner say he has not sinned.
Con.
Con.
For
That's
the Most
right.
High shall cast coals of fire upon his head.
Con.
Yeah. That's it.
Purified missiles, man.
Yeah,
And if they're saying that, that's a clear that they're not of the elect, right? Of the hopeful elect. Because, we know we're sinners, right?
that's why our minds are always, we know
Yeah.
we're going off. We know
Fear.
we need to be redeemed.
Con.
Yeah. Yep. It's fear, man.
We got to be
Complete fear.
changed.
Yeah.
As simple as seeing a guy walk with his girl, like you look, you know not to look, right?
That's right.
Simple as that.
And
Hey,
her
brother.
titties are out, her ass is out, everything.
Don't business.
Yeah.
You know?
Hey, brother, your dreams can be sin. The scriptures tell you that not to regard every dream, because some dreams are folly,
That's right.
God.
so even your dreams can be
Very
sin.
true.
Yeah, man. Someday we from dream. I say, God, please.
Yo, every morning I wake up, I say, forgive me my sin. 'Cause I don't know what I dreamt. I just went into the word here, amendment, right? And it comes from the word amend, right? And it says to what? Correct, set right, make better.
Mhm.
Whew. So tell you, like, right? These things are actually to make the earth better.
Fun.
You're reading about the famine, the plague, the tribulation, the anguish. All these things are to make the earth better and to correct the earth.
That's why we pray for it.
Yep.
That's why you can tell who we're the men of the Lord. Like
Yep.
these things don't phase us in the way it will phase a man with a carnal mind. These say these things must happen in order for what? Our kingdom to usher in.
Yeah.
Right? And it will be under righteous rulership.
Yeah, because it says here, it says to correct, free from fault.
Con.
And that's exactly what this destruction is going to bring.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
because these corrections, when you're getting your ass whooped, you're supposed to change your ways.
Mhm.
Exactly.
So you become free from fault.
Con.
Right? But the Most High, he sent these scourges so often, and these people they don't care.
Con.
Right? So now he's just coming to just wipe the floor, man.
Yeah. What's it called? The besom. The besom of destruction.
He's coming to fumigate this shithole.
Mhm.
Fumigate, yeah. God. Verse 20, it says a bunch of roaches.
Yeah.
It says
There be roaches in the kingdom, bro. There be roaches still. Roaches are good. They do something.
Just never die.
yo, but if I see a white roach, we gotta get rid of them white roaches.
This brother racist.
Roaches, not humans. Roaches. But if you're in the know, you know what we're talking about. Verse 20, it says, "But for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness,
Yep.
nor be always mindful of the scourges." Yep. And
That's why it's like, if I could say this, like, that's why I always think like even Esau himself, Esau has to be saved from himself. Because ultimately, if Esau doesn't get destroyed, he'll destroy himself and the whole world. So ultimately, Esau has to be saved from Esau.
Yeah, he's the son of perdition, right?
Yeah,
and sure, talking about these days, the next verse there has nothing to do with what we're talking. You have to go back, but it says, "Big show It's cheap in those days.
Exactly. I was just
It's
thinking.
all-time deals right now. Two
Yeah.
for $5.99.
Yeah.
You can do. There's people you can do your grocery shopping at Dollarama.
Good.
Con,
You know, there's people that can do their grocery shopping at Dollarama.
that's true. That's very true.
You can buy beer at 7-Eleven now. They actually have beer at 7-Eleven. You know, they actually start selling beer and wine there. You know?
You know, you upsize my fries.
Yeah. And it's all distraction, man.
It's all yeah.
It's just to keep you people appeased. You know?
Two
The
can dine for $7.99.
most guy's tired of this place, man.
Con.
You know, there's no more. It's not gonna be scourges, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's just gonna be plagues after plagues,
That's right, man. That's right.
like that movie, The Fifth Wave.
Con.
Right? It just kept coming in over. This happened. You know.
Yeah, Con. That was a good movie. That was a good movie. Okay, Con. So this was Revelation chapter 9. Yeah. You got some? You got some? You got some?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. Bring it up.
If it goes way to Revelation 12, you did a breakdown. And the pastor back did the couldn't break it, how the pastor now the breaking it. Can you hear me?
Your
Yeah,
mic is chippy.
you're kind of mumbling out, but it's
Yeah.
okay. Keep going. Okay.
Here's my point. Okay, so I have the book of Habakkuk 2 and 1.
Habakkuk?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 and 1.
Come on, go ahead.
I will stand upon my watch and stand me upon the tower, and I will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I should answer when I reprove. And the Lord Yahweh will answer me and say, write the vision and make it plain upon the tables, that he may run to read it. And the brother Kasab brought out Amos 3 and 7, because it says, surely the Lord will do nothing to reveal the secret to his servants.
Con.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It says in verse 2, for the vision is here for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak, and no lie.
Con.
Thou tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry.
Yeah.
So the Bible is on point 100%, no matter what other people think. You know, they call us, bumps, whatever they want to call us. But with the apostles, we make the breakdowns 100%.
Yeah.
That's right.
And they're plain. Right?
They're-
That's the key. That's the thing, man. You're gonna get a lot of mumbo jumbo from a bunch of different Israelite leaders, saying all kinds of different things, man. And none of it's gonna make sense. But starting with the apostles and the elders on down at Great Millstone, man, we give it to you plain. We don't hide it or fancy it for you. We just make it plain and easy for you to understand, because we understand it's only for the elect anyways.
That's right. Yep.
Con. So that's it. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying to the whole full elect of the nation of Israel. That was Revelation chapter 9. Like I said, for those of you younger brothers, go over the lesson, research a lot of the historical facts for yourself. All right. So we're gonna give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh. Shem. All right. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who rule well and has taught us this word in truth and sincerity, and peace and mercy to the whole full elect that are also pushing this word in truth and sincerity across the four corners of the earth, as well as you non-sisters that believe. Peace and mercy to your household. Abal. And we're into the next live lesson. We say shalom to the whole elect.
Shalom.
Shalom.